Hi, I am Andrea Ferrario from ETH Zurich. Today, I will introduce you to the joint work with Michele from the Politecnico di Milano titled How Explainability Contributes to Trust in AI. Explainability of artificial intelligence in what follows AI is an elusive concept. It is commonly described as the desideratum of AIs that would allow humans to understand their inner logic and the rationale behind the generation of their outcomes. It is either a requirement satisfied by design by a restricted class of algorithms called interpretable models, or it is strived for by means of methods approximating the AI globally or locally. The literature on AI suggests that explainability of AI may engender, increase, or generate trust in AI. The possibility of engendering trust in AI using explainability becomes particularly relevant for the case of medical AI systems. This is essentially due to their use in high stakes and high impact scenarios, the recent rise of their contested epistemic authority, the higher cost of alternatives for decision-making, and the ethical challenges arising from their use in clinical processes. The problem Michele and I wanted to address is the following. Without a clear account of the relation between explainability and trust, common claims such as explainability fosters trust in AI and cognates simply remain unclear. This problem negatively affects research in explainable AI and its far-reaching and society-impacting promises. First, it impedes a rigorous understanding of explainability and trust in AI. Second, it affects the quality of the empirical studies aiming to investigate the relation between explainability and trust in AI. Lastly, it contributes to the low rate of acceptance and deployment of medical AIs in clinical practice. Therefore, our proposed solution, a philosophical account of the relation between explainability of an AI and trust in it, formally clarifying how explainability contributes to trust in AI. To discuss our philosophical account, Michele and I follow a three-step approach. First, we introduce three conceptual building blocks: justification, causality, and monitoring. Second, we combine the three conceptual building blocks in a formal account of how explainability contributes to trust in AI. Third, we show that from our formal account, it follows that explainability does not contribute to users' trust in AI, but to the trust of the public in the AI user diet. We move to the first conceptual building block of our account, justification. Justification has entered the discourse on trust in AI systems thanks to Duran and Jongsma. In fact, in the context of medical AIs, these authors recently argued that algorithmic opacity represents the main epistemic obstacle to the trustworthiness of medical AIs. Therefore, they proposed the theory of computational reliabilism as a solution to the problem of epistemic opacity of AI algorithms. Computational reliabilism states that we are justified in believing the results of AI systems because there is a reliable process that yields, most of the time, trustworthy results. However, embracing computational reliabilism with AIs suffers of noteworthy limitations. First, computational reliabilism has still to be adapted to the case of black box algorithms in AI systems, such as those of deep learning. To do so, Duran and Youngsma suggest to introduce new reliability indicators. Second, it is not clear whether methods of explainable AI may or may not contribute to the reliability of the process, justifying the beliefs on the trustworthiness of the AI itself. In summary, at the time of writing, explainable AI does not fit into computational reliabilism. Therefore, we argue that its methods do not contribute to the justification of the beliefs in the trustworthiness of an AI. We move to the second conceptual building block of our account, causality. Recently, Jacob et al. Introduced an account of trust in AI called contractual trust. Contractual trust is to believe that an AI will maintain a set of contracts which are explicit functionalities or requirements of an AI. Therefore, given any AI contract, an AI is said to be trustworthy if it is capable to maintain that given contract. In particular, warranted trust is contractual trust that is non-accidentally caused by the trustworthiness of the AI. As a result, according to Jacob et al., warranted trust can be tested in empirical studies, where trustworthiness is manipulated across different experimental conditions, and trust is quantified in some way. We move to the third and last conceptual building block of our account, monitoring. By definition, monitoring is the set of activities an agent may engage in after making the decision to rely on another agent, including AIs. In philosophy, different authors suggested the idea that trust is antithetical to monitoring. In other words, the more or less I monitor you, the less or more I trust you. As a result, trust as anti-monitoring is an account of trust that allows characterizing trust quantitatively and the relation between explainability and trust in AI. Recently, Ferrario et al. Stated that trust as anti-monitoring comes in three forms: simple, reflective, and paradigmatic. In particular, they stated that X trusts Y paradigmatically if and only if X holds a belief on Y's trustworthiness, and X relies on Y without exercising monitoring. Moreover, Loya et al. Show that trust as anti-monitoring can be modeled quantitatively by generalizing previous work by Taddeo. Loya et al.'s quantitative model of trust allows measuring levels of trust in human-human and human-AI interactions alike. In particular, their model addresses well-known difficulties in measuring trust in human-AI interactions. As a result, the different forms of trust as anti-monitoring and their quantitative modeling can be used to characterize the relation between explainability and trust in AI. Finally, we arrive at our formal account of how explainability contributes to trust in AI. We say that explainability contributes to trust in AI if and only if explainability contributes to paradigmatic, justified, and warranted trust in reliance relations with the AI. Equivalently, this is to state that explainability supports the justified belief on the trustworthiness of the AI, and because of this belief, it leads to a reduction of the degree of monitoring invested in the relation with the AI. Clearly, our formal account combines the three conceptual building blocks that we have to introduce before, that is justification, causality, and monitoring. Our account encompasses different types of human-AI interactions. By considering different types of beliefs on the trustworthiness of an AI and the levels of monitoring exercised during the reliance relation with it. In the table below, we show a few examples of reliance relations between different types of physicians and a medical AI. The different types of physicians are characterized by different types of beliefs on the trustworthiness of the medical AI and levels of monitoring exercised throughout the relation within it. Lastly, we comment on two different perspectives on trust in AI. To do so, we ask a natural question. Given our formal account of the relation between explainability and trust in AI, can explainability contribute to trust in AI? In the case of users' trust in AI, our answer is negative. Reason is explainability is neither necessary nor sufficient to justifiably reduce the need of monitoring. On the contrary, the use of explainability methods contribute to increase monitoring during a reliance relation with an AI. However, in the case of AI user diets, explainability can contribute to the public trust. In this scenario, the truster is the public, and the trustee comprises a human and the AI, that is the diet. Explainability can increase the reliability of the diet, although independent accuracy and robustness measures are hard to produce. In summary, in our paper, Michele and I introduced the philosophical account of the relation between explainability and trust in AI, combining justification, causality, and monitoring. We showed that explainability methods do not contribute to the user's trust in the AI, but to the public trust in the AI user diet. Finally, our philosophical account allows researchers designing studies to empirically validate the relation between explainability and trust in AI in a rigorous way. Grazie.